Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you haven't been here before. Today I'm going to show you how to get the beautiful crown braid, and this is a hairstyle that I love and I get a lot of compliments on when I wear, but it's actually my go-to bad hair day style. And as you can see, my hair is not looking too great. I just washed it. I didn't style it, I just let it dry naturally so it has its natural texture. So this is a style that does not need any prep work. You don't need to straighten it or curl it or really do anything other than comb it, and it turns out beautifully. Now, I'm going to show you a few different ways to do this hairstyle depending on your skill level or hair length, or just whichever one you like the best and you think looks the prettiest. And I'll just talk through which one is good for what length and what skill level, and any tips that I can think of as I go, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so I've just taken my hair down, combed it out. Obviously, it's looking a little wild here. And this first braided crown I'm going to show you is the easiest. So this is if you don't know how to do a fancy braid or don't enjoy doing that kind of braid. It only requires a 3-strand braid. The only thing about this style is that your hair does need to be long enough so that when you put it up, you have enough hair to cross over. So if your hair is shorter, then stay tuned for some of the other styles which work better with shorter hair. So all I'm going to do is gather my hair right behind the ear. And I do have bangs, so you can leave your bangs out if you have them, or you can braid them in. If I was going to do this style with my bangs, I'd probably leave them out, fix them up a little bit, only so that they don't pop out, but it's not necessary. So I'm just separating my hair into 3, and I'm going to do a very simple braid, keeping it nice and tight there at the top. If you don't keep it tight, it can pop out when we fold it over, which doesn't have exactly the effect. All right, so I'm going to go right down as far as I can with this, because we don't want those ends sticking out too much. This is going to make it easier to hide them, camouflage it into the braid. My hair is a little layered, so I'm going down just like this. I'm taking this tiny little rubber elastic. I do recommend using a nice small one. If you use a bulky one, it makes it harder to hide the end. All right, now let's just repeat on the other side. All right, and once you have your 2 little braids in place, I'm just going to take first braid and bring it all the way over here and line up that end with where this piece is going to fold over. And that's going to help make sure that end stays hidden. Now you're going to pop in your bobby pin. I do recommend kind of popping it in a little further to the top to start, right above that elastic. And that way the hair can't slip. If it does start to slip, it'll hit the elastic, hold it into place. All right, so now we're going to take this piece, lay it right over that end, and this bobby pin I'm going to secure a little bit towards the middle here, and then this one again right above where that elastic is. And of course, the last one will be used to tuck this little piece of hair in. And there is the first braid. It is very simple, but still very elegant. It's more of the milkmaid crown braid, which I think is very cute. I think it's youthful. And again, so simple. You don't have to fuss with any heat tools or anything. You can just do this right in the morning, wrap it up, and go about your day, and people will think, you know, you actually took some time on your hair. All right, so let's get to the next braid. Okay, so this next style is the one that I use most often. I think it looks really beautiful. It requires that you know how to do a French braid or a Dutch braid, but it can also be used with much shorter hair. This was a style I often did when I was growing my hair out, and I found that it worked quite well. And again, it's such an easy hairstyle as long as you know how to French braid or Dutch braid. So I'm just going to start up at the top here. And this is great if you have bangs that you're trying to hide, if you're growing them out. And I'm just going to start French braiding my hair right down the sides. And again, make sure you get it nice and tight as you reach the base of your skull or your neck, because if you leave it loose, it can create this kind of wonky bump, which you can pin down with bobby pins, but I think it works a little better if you just pull it nice and tight. So again, we want to go as far down with this braid as we can, leaving the ends nice and twisted up so that they don't have much wiggle room to poke out in places we don't want them poking out. Okay, so unlike with the other one where we went like this time you're going to take your braid, swing it around, and cross back over around your head. And even if your hair is short, you still can cross it around as much as you can. Even when my hair was above shoulder length, it was right here, just wrap it around and tuck it right into your braid. And that's why this is probably my favorite of the styles, just because it works with all hair lengths and because I like the effect the most. So I'm going to take this, and I've laid this braid behind the starting point. You can lay it in front if you like. And then this little end piece, I'm going to grab. I kind of take the bobby pin, I put it in, I give it a twist, and then I shove it in that it's going the same way as the braid, kind of hiding right beneath it, because I don't really want big bobby pins sticking out. Alright. Now we'll do the same with this one. And if you'd like, you can fluff up your braids to make them look a little fuller, nicer. I like mine both ways. It depends on the look I'm going for. And my hair is naturally kind of frizzy. It's definitely got a texture to it. And I don't try to fight that when I'm doing this style. I think it looks organic to have, you know, the little frizz sticking out. And I like that I don't have to worry about making everything smooth, and it still looks quite chic and polished regardless of the frizz. Okay, so this next one is the most difficult. So I often don't go for this one because, as I said, this is my go-to quick hairstyle and I don't like to have to redo it a bunch of times. But if you can do this, I think it looks the most organic when it's all done. So for this one, I'm just going to change up my part here. And I don't want this part to be too neat, too straight. Make sure I have all those tangles out of there. So this one again is going to be a French braid, but it's going to be one singular French braid that goes all the way around the head. And I'm going to try to explain as I'm going what I'm doing while still keeping my concentration. So I'm just starting this French braid, making sure to grab hair all the way over from the front to the back of the head. So I'm grabbing the hair in bigger pieces horizontally than I am vertically. And the reason for this is because when we make the braid, we want to make sure that we don't have excess hair on top when we've already started going around. I hope that makes sense. So let me see if I can turn while I'm doing this. So I'm grabbing all that hair, and when I get to the back here, I'm going to pull it nice and tight. Switch hands. And start pulling the hair this way. And again, make sure you're pulling nice and tight here. I'm seeing I have a little bit of a lump. I'm gonna see if I can fix that in post braid. Alright, now we'll just secure this right back here. And I should have gone a little tighter on this side. I do tend to make this mistake, but what I'm going to do to compensate for it is loosen up my braid on this side so that at the very least we have an even looking crown. And again, I think this one is the trickiest, and when it works, it's the prettiest. So I'm the first to admit this one is not as well done as I can achieve. You really need to pull that hair nice and flat against your head as you're going around. But at the same time, there is something very organic about it. Letting some little pieces fall out and everything. It's just unexpected. And it feels great. You can do so much with this. It's actually way more comfortable than a ponytail. If you're like me and you have a lot of very heavy, thick hair, having a ponytail up can give me a headache. And I haven't quite mastered the messy bun look, so this is my messy bun. It's a messy crown. Okay, and for this last braid, this is again a really easy braid. It's not quite as organic, it's a little more regal. So this is one that I would probably more likely wear to dinner rather than at the grocery store, but it's totally up to you. But it is a very simple style, very reminiscent of the first. Only difference is, instead of putting a middle part, we're just gonna comb the hair all the way back and gather it at the base of your neck. Secure it with your little ponytail ring. And my bangs are popping out, but the braids will hold them down. So now you're just going to separate that ponytail to two even pieces, as even as you can make them. I think I might have a little more on this side. Alright. And now I'm just going to create another really simple 3-strand braid. If you do have layers in your hair like me, try to be conscious of having each strand have an equal length of hair so that you don't accidentally separate your layers and then you're left with a braid that stops up here. Alright, and for this one, I'm just going to loosen up the braid. You don't have to. Okay, let's repeat on the other side. And we're just going to fold it over. Get my bangs out of there. Fold it over just like we did on the first style. Alright, right above the elastic. And tuck it under the hair as much as you can. And we're going to lay this braid right on top of that elastic. And now just use your bobby pins to tuck down any stray hair. Okay, so this is the final hairstyle. And again, this one is a little more regal looking, a little less organic. And I think it's a great way to dress up an outfit. Let me know what you think about all of them, which one's your favorite, which ones you liked, didn't like, anything. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.